What's up, world? It's your boy Top Ramen again, bringing you another tech talk. We're long overdue for one, so let's have one now.
Teach what you learn, speak what you heard, hear what you're told, nothing but words. Watch it get old. It only gets old.
So in 2018, you told yourself that you want to change careers. You want to become a software developer, and the way in which you want to do that is by going through a boot camp. So what I've done today is put together a list of questions that you need to ask of the boot camp before you give them your money. Without further ado, let's just get into it. The first question that you need to ask of the boot camp is where are their former students or their alumni. You want to make sure that the alumni are actually working in roles of which they've studied for. So you want to make sure that they are working as software developers and not just, I don't know, pizza delivery drivers. I mean, if that's your gig, that's cool too, but you didn't go through a boot camp to become a pizza delivery driver. So you just want to make sure that the boot camp is being upfront about where their students have landed jobs. Another question that you need to ask of the boot camp is what languages are they teaching, and are those languages in high demand for the area of which you live? For me, my program taught us Java. I live in an area of which there are a lot of credit card and banking companies, and those companies need developers who know Java. So that lined up for us quite well, actually. You don't want to go through a program of, let's say, 4 to 6 months, and then afterwards you realize that you've learned all the wrong technologies for what the area demands. So just make sure that they're teaching you what it is that you guys need to know. Another question to ask the boot camp is, do they have any corporate partners? For my boot camp, we had a bunch of corporate partners. So like I said, I live in an area which there's a lot of credit card and banking companies. So those were our corporate partners. And what the corporate partners allow you to do is, one, it gives you points of contact inside of the company for when you go to apply afterwards. Two, for us, because they work so closely with the corporate partners, those partners had a huge influence on what technologies are being taught inside of the boot camp. And that gives us a leg up advantage, because if those partners are telling us that they need students who know, let's say, Java, Spring, SQL developer, and things like that, the boot camp then turned their curriculum into teaching what it is exactly that those corporate partners needed. So that gave us a greater advantage of getting a job after the boot camp. So that was pretty cool. Another question to ask is, do the alumni return? If the alumni don't think it was a quality program, they aren't going to return. So if the alumni are coming back to either teach or just to keep in contact with their instructors, that's going to be a huge confidence booster in whether or not you give this boot camp your money. You don't want to go somewhere where the alumni aren't even happy that they graduated from. And when those alumni return, the advantage that they give is that they've been through the program already, and most likely they've gone through the same challenges and struggles that you'll face within the boot camp. So they can help you out a lot whenever it is that you get stuck. Additionally, they provide yet another point of contact inside of the industry. So it's also like a networking opportunity as well. Another question to ask is, will you be prepped for interviews and job searches? So for my boot camp, what they allowed us to do, or what they built into the curriculum, was making us more appealing candidates for job positions afterwards. So a huge part of the program wasn't just about learning Java or learning Spring, Angular, whatever. They took time to go through each student's current resume, and they formed it to be a much more polished version by the end of the program. For most of us, we were all career changers, so we didn't have backgrounds that really aligned with what an industry would particularly care to see. Yeah, we might have worked in customer service, we might have been those pizza delivery drivers, but on a resume it's kind of difficult to put into words how that may help a tech team somewhere. So the boot camp did a great job of making us look like the best candidates possible. And then afterwards, they sent out those resumes to their points of contacts within their corporate partners. So there were actually people seeing our resumes as they went to these different companies. They weren't just going to a black box and sitting. So that was an advantage. Some boot camps, they may not offer that opportunity. They may teach you what it is that you need to know to land a job, but they aren't making that extra effort in helping you find a job per se. I mean, if I spend $12,000 with somebody and they tell me that I have a high chance of getting a job afterwards, I think they should be inclined to help us seeing that through completely. And that means from teaching us to preparing us for interviews. And that's another thing. So when it comes to preparing for the interviews, the alumni will return regularly to give us mock interviews. So they would give us some questions of which they've been asked during their interviews as well. So they're just helping us be a little bit more calm and relaxed when it was time for the interviews. So let's get into that question. Does your bootcamp offer on-site interviews? For my bootcamp, the corporate partners who received our applications and resumes, they came into the school to conduct first round interviews. So not only did our applications bypass a black box at some company, they made it to the desk of some manager who needs developers, and that manager came to our school to conduct interviews. So that was pretty cool. A lot of times you may not get a single interview, but with my bootcamp, they ensured that every student had at least 3 on-site interviews when we completed the program. So that was pretty cool, and I hope your bootcamp does the same. Let's see. Will you have access to tutors? You're going to get like a shit ton of information over the course of, let's say, 4 to 6 months. And not all of that information is going to be given to you in a digestible manner. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to spend a lot of time, and you're going to need access to resources like instructors or alumni who can tutor you through some of this information. So once again, that's where the alumni comes in handy. If the instructors aren't able to be there on the weekends, a lot of times the alumni would stop in and donate a few of their hours each weekend so that we had a better chance of learning the information. So you just want to make sure that your boot camp is connected in that manner too. Let's see. Are there any clauses inside of the contracts for the programs after you complete them? So for my program, it cost us $12,000 for the tuition. When you become accepted to the program, you have to give up $3,000 up front. At the completion of the program, if you're to land a job with one of the corporate partners, the corporate partner will then pay off the remaining $9,000 over the course of 6 months. If you were to leave that corporate partner before your 6 months is up, you would have to pay back whatever the remaining balance is at a prorated rate. I have a friend who just graduated from boot camp down in DC. His program cost $20,000. The clause in the contract is, however, the boot camp is free, but if you land a job with one of their clients at the end of the program, you would have to work for them for 2 years, and you would have to, if you were to leave the program or if you were to leave the client before that 2 years is up, then you would have to pay back whatever, I guess, the remainder of that $20,000 tuition is. That shit's a lot. One of the reasons why I got into this field is because there is great opportunity everywhere. I don't want to be tied down to a company for 2 years, and let's just say that I don't really like that company. So it's kind of like ball and chain. It's too much. I don't know. It's too much restriction on me. I'm not into all that shit. But yeah, those are just things to think about when looking for a boot camp. Also, I know that my program now, they're offering stipends and tuition, I guess, deductions, depending on what your financial needs are. So that opens up the industry to a lot of people who may not be able to afford college and who may not be able to afford the $12,000. So they have reduced tuition costs for people with financial needs, which is pretty cool. If you are someone who might be able to benefit from something like that, then you need to make sure that your boot camp offers such a program. For us, it does, and it's just pretty cool to see how my former boot camp is just expanding and offering more and more opportunities to people who might be disadvantaged. And that's what this is all about, man. Like, let's level the playing field and let's try to get everybody who wants the opportunity of getting into the tech industry, let's give them their shot. If they can do the work, then let's see them do it and let's see them be great, man. That's what it's all about. There's a lot coming this year. I know I slacked off at the end of 2017, but we're back in it. Shit, new year, new me too, all right? As always, if you like this video, please subscribe, please share, please comment. I'm definitely down to hearing all your questions and your concerns. So just drop those comments down there. Got a lot of things coming. I want to show you guys how to program this year. I want to continue to give you guys pointers for looking for jobs and pretty much everything that this involves. I want to give you some more insight into what it is that I do at work now. Just a snippet right now. So I work on a tech team who is building an internal application for the company, and what that application does is make sure that the company or the firm abides by government regulations for all sorts of incidents impacting customers. Particularly, I'm doing a conversion from a old outdated ass technology to a more relevant front-end JavaScript framework. As the year progresses, I'm going to give you guys more updates and insight on that too. But yeah, 2018, man, we're about to be great this year, so let's do it. Peace.